Well, hello.
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 How are you guys?
Really good.
We're wonderful. We love Portland. Yeah. We don't get out here very often.
Yeah.
A lot of Bob's Burgers fans here. You guys just wrapped up doing a Bob's Burgers live tour. How does that work exactly, to do the live version of an animated series on Fox?
Well, what we did, all the voice actors on the show are also stand-ups. So everybody did 10 minutes of stand-up, and then we did a table read, and then we answered questions. And we usually show an animatic of a future show, but when we performed at the Crystal Ballroom, the machines broke. Wow. That ballroom's haunted. It really is.
When the show started out on Fox, I know it sort of had mixed reviews, and now everyone says it's the best thing that's ever been created. What happened? Did you guys get better? Did the audience start to figure out what they were supposed to be paying attention to?
I think most of maybe the audience figured it out finally. Maybe I think their eyes adjusted to what we were doing a little bit more. But no, I was just talking to Kristen about this earlier. Like early on after the pilot, I had to stop myself from ever going on Twitter and seeing what people were writing because, oh my God, people unleash the worst of themselves when they want to hate a comedy show. It's amazing. It's amazing what people are capable of. But yeah.
They feel really like resentful, like you like stabbed them.
What are you putting in front of me?
Yeah.
Yes, this isn't funny.
I also feel like when anything's new, it takes a lot. It's rare that a show comes out of the gate a hit. It happens every blue moon. And I think it's nice when shows get some time to breathe and learn who they are and let the characters grow, and then the writers can learn like what works best and how the characters interact.
There's a big learning curve, and most shows don't even get a chance to get to the end of the curve because after a few episodes, if it doesn't seem to be working, they put a stop to it. But we were lucky enough to get a few seasons to
If you look
find
at the
ourselves.
first episode of Seinfeld or Friends, it's utter
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? The animation is unwatchable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But then you got used to it. Then
Yeah.
you started to think that those characters were attractive, just like Britney Spears. Like, she came out and I was like, no, I'm not having it. And then, like, she's in my face every day and in my dreams, and I'm like, what's she doing now? That's how it works.
Kristen, in the early days of Bob's Burgers, I feel like you and I had a conversation once where you said that your agent would send you all of the negative reviews that you got. Was that true? Or were you just overly obsessing on when people would say things that were not exactly complimentary about you online? Did you have a period of your career where you were too drawn to reading that kind of feedback?
I don't remember this conversation, Luke.
Really?
But there.
You had a lot of acid.
I dropped acid?
Yeah.
I don't
I had
remember
like
that.
a dragon face. Do you remember that part of it? I feel like
Like
one time
now?
we were, right. I feel like one time, I thought we were talking about the fact that this was actually when you were added onto 30 Rock, and you were talking about how people, because they love that show, were very protective of it, and they weren't sure if they liked your character or not.
Oh, they didn't. No, that's true. What happened was when I was on Flight of the Conchords, it was nice because that show was one of those shows where people just like, oh, I love this show, end of story. And 30 Rock, I came onto a revered show, and lots of people didn't like it. And you're right. I remember this now. It was devastating because I would see things where people are like, how do we get Hazel off the show? And I'm like, what? And I remember I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, and I asked Jack McBrayer, I'm like, I'm seeing some negative stuff about Hazel on the internet. And he turned on me and he's like, why are you reading the internet? And I was like, what? I'm new to this. Am I not supposed to? He's like, no. So I stopped. I still graze heavily, but he's right. It was like, why would I do that? How's that helping me at all,
Is it possible, Jack McBrayer plays the Kenneth Parcell character, is it possible he just heard about the internet?
I think he's wise beyond his years and a timeless, imaginative creature that might be a ghost, yes.
One of the things that I've read about how you guys actually create Bob's Burgers is that all of the voice actors are actually together when it's being recorded. Is that true?
More or less. We have people calling in sometimes from, we have kind of a bi-coastal cast, so we'll have people calling in from New York. Fewer and fewer now, everyone's moving to LA. But yeah, we try to get everyone together.
But even if they're calling in, they're in a studio somewhere else,
yeah,
but it's being recorded in real time?
Exactly, yeah.
Basically. Is that unique for an animated show, you think?
It's unique for a show on Fox. The guy who created Bob's Burgers is Lauren Bouchard, and he got his start on Dr. Katz, which was on Comedy Central. And that was a show that had very kind of loose, largely improvised dialogue. I think they were working off of outlines. And from there, he went to Home Movies, where he kind of developed that. And then Bob's. And so Bob's takes a lot of the improvised stuff from those other shows, but we still go in with like a full script.
Yeah, I got to talk to Matt Groening. Yeah, that's right. I learned how to say it. Creator of The Simpsons, and he said that that's how they recorded their show in the beginning stages, and then everybody was like, I got a life, you know? I don't know what happened, that they don't do it anymore.
Right, but I think, and we'll remind people, you're listening to Livewire Radio. We have KRISTEN SCHAAL and Scott Jacobson here from Bob's Burgers. It would seem that once you have everybody recording their part when their schedule allows them to, and then they kind of slap it all together, and we're here to criticize The Simpsons, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. No, but I mean,
they can take it.
you would.
They don't read the internet, so.
You would think that there is so much more kind of dynamism and things that can come from you guys all actually being there when it's happening at the same time and improving and stuff. How do you guys actually create an episode?
From what phase?
From, let's say, when it's written.
It starts with the writers.
You got this, Scott. You got this. It's like he asked you to lift like 400 pounds. I got so
all right.
nervous.
So it starts with an idea.
How do you get that idea? Sometimes you're sitting on the toilet. You know, sometimes you're driving in your car. Dreams?
Mostly catalogs. Idea catalogs that we get in the mail if you're a writer. But no, it's writer driven. A lot of the writers will have an idea, and then we'll come up with a script. And the thing is, we try to keep the scripts. It doesn't always work, but we try to keep the scripts a little short because we know that the cast is going to improvise. Lauren, it came from the top early on that he wanted people on the show who could improvise. And if someone was really funny but couldn't do that, then their value to Bob's Burgers is much lower. So a lot of the people you'll notice we use are people who are really funny on their feet, and we'll like run through a scene a couple times just from the page, and then people will just go off and do what they want to do. And we use a lot of the improv from like the third and fourth takes.
I was wondering, what tends to make it into the show? Is it the written stuff, or is it more the stuff that people are just kind of coming up with?
It's really both, because you need the written stuff to drive it along, for one thing, and a lot of the time the best improvised stuff feels just, you sometimes get greedy for it because it's so funny, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the story. And so we have to shoehorn it in, whenever we can.
Has there been a thing, KRISTEN, that you can remember improving that you were just so proud of, and then it just didn't fit in the show and it was heartbreaking?
No. No.
We know better than to, throw away Shawl
cut
Gold.
Your darlings, man. No, not at all.
Really? So, I mean, do you feel like when there's something, there aren't ever creative clashes where there's something that you feel really good about that they're just like, it doesn't fit for time or for the plot or something?
No, the writers work so hard, and I always say this, that the funniest jokes are written by the writers. Like, the improv stuff is just like, here and there, it's kind of funny, but the ones that hit home are the crafted jokes.
But by that same token, we would say that a lot of the stuff that really sticks with us is stuff that is just tossed off by, like, Eugene Merman is one of the cast members, John Benjamin, John Roberts, Dan Mintz, and KRISTEN are kind of the 5 core members of the cast. And a lot of our very favorite stuff is stuff that they don't even remember saying. That, like, people will come up to you or come up to Eugene and ask you to do a line from the show that you don't even remember being in the show.
No. When we record, we're just in the moment and we're laying it down. And here's the thing. There's no, like, I couldn't get mad about losing any piece of it because I have zero control after I leave the booth. Like, that stuff goes all the way to Korea and back, you know? So I'm just happy it's getting made.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you were just mentioning the cast. It's people like Eugene Merman and H. John Benjamin. There seems to be this, and Kristen, you're part of this small group of folks who I know have all known each other long before Bob's Burgers, who do the voices. Was that because when the show was created, it was created with those actors in mind? Or
Absolutely.
Did you just Kristen, did you like recommend everybody else for the gig?
No. That's every character is very heavily like based on the personalities of the people who perform on the show. I mean, I know Lauren liked you tons going into this, and
Yeah, he did.
I knew there was no one else. There was no one else who was going to play Louise. It
Nope.
was KRISTEN SCHAAL.
Yeah.
She didn't have to audition.
Yeah, no, nobody did. And the process was also very odd. Like, Fox was like, we like you, Lauren Bouchard, but we're not totally sure. Can you just write a couple scenes and record them, and then we'll decide? So we'd go into a booth every 6 months for 2 years and record a scene with the family. And then we'd like all go get some beers and be like, what was that? I don't know. Who cares? I'm just happy we could have beers together. I never see you guys. And then for 2 years that happened. And then I remember I got this call and my agent was like, what's going on? Because she didn't even know I was doing this. But you're on a Fox cartoon. Were you ever going to tell me? And I was like, no, because I don't. Am I? Oh my God, they're going to do it? That's crazy. It was really weird.
Is it a little bit shocking to sort of realize that this thing that is very, I think it is for people who I think get comedy. I don't mean that in a snobbish way, but what I mean is it's not the broadest of broad shows. I mean, it's got a kind of, I think, a really interesting focus to it, and it's made by a bunch of people who are already friends. Is it weird that it keeps showing up on network TV every week? Like, it seems like kind of a minor miracle.
Especially a lot of the people who work on this show come from a background with smaller, more niche networks. A lot of us have worked on Adult Swim stuff. And we love that stuff still, but it's very strange to know that The Simpsons is on before us. It doesn't seem to be a thing that should happen.
One of the things that happens a lot on the show is music. There seems to be a thread that's kind of woven through the show, and it's all, it strikes me as really funny, but kind of, I don't want to say low-tech in the recording, because
You can go ahead and say that.
It's a fairly low-tech kind of musical approach. A lot of the songs are kind of simplistic. I'm curious, how do the songs get developed? Who writes them? Who records them?
The focus on the music also comes from Lauren. He's a musician, and he wrote and recorded the theme song and a lot of the music on the show. But everyone on the staff is a big music fan, and some of the most popular songs, again, have been stuff that people just improvised, just off the top of their heads. The first song to kind of break out would be we had a song on the Thanksgiving episode that John Roberts just improvised, and in its entirety, it was "Pass the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Ah, the turkey looks great. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there."
When does he improvise that song?
I just got chills.
And it was, but for some.
Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for being there. And
he improvised that in the room.
yeah, that was entirely John Roberts.
Yeah.
It has stuck in our heads for just weeks and months, and we got the National to cover it. And
because you directed a music video of the Nationals, right?
Oh yeah, starring KRISTEN.
Yeah, Scott directed it. And Scott said, "Do you want to be in a music video?" And I said, "Only if I can play the president." And he made it happen.
We wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Video about President KRISTEN SCHAAL.
Yeah. Was it of America? I don't remember.
Yeah, you were president of America, and you were having an affair with.
I could have been any country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the real president.
Yeah. The only president that matters. Just kidding. I love all the world.
Okay, well, we don't have the National here, but we do have our friend Laura Gibson, who was here earlier, and also John Roderick from The Long Winters. Yeah. And they've actually been preparing a song. Scott, this is, I think it's going to be Electric Lover. Can you set this up
Electric
for people?
Love. And it's actually, it's from an episode where Louise, KRISTEN's character, has a really crappy substitute teacher who loves Thomas Edison, and she wants to take him down a notch. So she puts together this musical that's all about one of the darkest chapters in Edison's history. And it's at one point, I don't know if you're aware of this, and I hate to like spoil Edison for you.
This is important.
This is important though, so listen up.
Not all your heroes are perfect, okay? There's dual sides to them.
He electrocuted an elephant.
Yeah, you electrocuted an elephant.
He wanted to show that alternating current was really dangerous and that his DC current was so great.
In his defense, too, the elephant was a murderer, like a serial killer.
Yeah, but...
It stomped on trampled 3 people to death. I mean,
But
they're
she
like,
was-
they're guilty, you know. And the elephant's like, yeah.
But we did a song, Electric Love.
The elephant name was Topsy.
Name was Topsy, and the Electric Love imagines a more gentle ending to the Edison and Topsy story.
Yeah, in the show, it was performed by Kevin Kline, who's an Oscar winner, you guys. I don't know why he's doing our show. But we love that he is. He plays Fish Odor, and our landlord, and then the amazing Megan Mullally plays Topsy, and she's just so talented, guys.
But this is also going to be great.
It'll be fine.
This is going to be good, too.
All right, should we hear Electric Love, you guys?
Yeah, so I'm going to sing it with John. Do I take this mic?
Sure.
Guys, for all the radio listeners at home, I'm taking the same mic that I was using over here. And I'm standing here. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, standing next to each other, the chemistry is palpable, and I feel like
Yeah.
we're gonna knock this one out of the park.
Yeah. This is my first radio singing gig. And I don't
feels like
deserve
mine.
it. I don't deserve it.
All right, so here we go. This is John Roderick, KRISTEN SCHAAL, and also Laura Gibson. A little bit.
They say Thomas Edison, he's the man to get us into this century. And that man is me.
They'll say, autopsy at my autopsy, but no one will be more shocked than me.
But I never noticed the curve of her trunk.
And I never noticed his electric junk.
We might just have found electric love. 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 Electric
Great, great. And for everybody listening at home, yes, I can't hear music. I can't hear tunes or notes. So that sounded fine to me.
It sounded great to me. I'm a professional tune hearer, and that sounded
That was all right.
It was
Okay,
great.
great, thanks.